Hello, hello, hello. Terry Brock here, and welcome to Agorapreneurs Live. We are here for you, and I say we because I'm joined by my partner, Gina Carr, who's joined us also. Gina, how you doing today?
I'm doing
Gina,
fantastic. How about you, Terry?
doing just fine, doing just fine. Had a little trouble there with your microphone at first, but it seems to be working fine now. But today is the inaugural issue of Agorapreneurs Live, and Gina is joining me for this. I am so glad to have you with us, Gina. And tell us a little bit about Agorapreneurs and what you think it is.
Well, actually, I was thinking that today, since it's the inaugural episode, it might be good to sort of turn the tables on you, the founder of Agorapreneurs, and ask you to tell our audience a little bit about what your vision is for Agorapreneurs, what it means, and whether somebody is an Agorapreneur or not. So let's start with the basics, Terry.
Sounds good.
What is an Agorapreneur?
Well, an agorapreneur is a person who, first of all, that's a word that you and I made up. We came up with the idea of entrepreneurs, and we are both entrepreneurs. We have been really all our lives doing business, getting out there, getting it started, helping and working with people around the world. So it's the entrepreneur part, but the agora part is a little special. That comes from the Greek word of open spaces, and the idea of open spaces and people interacting freely with each other. That's the key. Freely and in a voluntary way. That's another important thing. The whole idea is, if you think, well, what does that mean, voluntary and freedom? Well, a way to sum it up is a phrase that we all have heard, and it really resonates. It's called live and let live. Live and let live. You're doing your thing. You're not harming others. You're not going to go out and initiate force or coercion against them. It's very, very peaceful. We always look for the peaceful approach first. Go for that. Always be peaceful. But what we would want to do is work in the marketplace helping others. We want to do that, and that's where the entrepreneurial idea comes in, so that, hey, we get a chance to do both of them that way. So live and let live, being an entrepreneur. How's that sound to you, Gina?
Well, it sounds pretty good. It sounds really good, actually. But let's say that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm out here with my own business, and maybe I have some employees, team member. Maybe it's a big business. Certainly, entrepreneurs are have big businesses. Some have smaller businesses, and I believe in peace and being peaceful, and I believe in letting people do what they want to do. What sort of causes me to cross the bridge that I would define myself as an agorapreneur versus just an entrepreneur who's out here trying to make a buck.
Well, I think the entrepreneurs, most of them are in the world. I'm doing this based on my non-scientific random sampling. But most people who are entrepreneurs believe in getting along with others, believe in a live and let live. And the idea is you live your life the way you want. You control your body. You control what you make. You have right to do that. No one has a right to come up and just smash you in the face. That we would consider not live and let live. Somebody's initiating force. They take a gun, put it to your head, and say, give me your money. That is not live and let live. And if someone does it, and matter of fact, if two or three people do it to one person, that's still wrong. Even if there's 3 to 1, doesn't matter. They are wrong doing that and initiating that force. Matter of fact, I would even go to say, if it was a company, even an entrepreneurial company that was going to force their will on someone else, that's not cool. That is not the way that we do live and let live. And same thing I would say with government. If they're saying they're going to force their will on someone, that's not true live and let live. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go for that philosophy and be able to live our lives in an abundant and free way. Matter of fact, there is someone that is doing that right now, we know, and that's Dr. Raquel Rubin, and she's joining us now here with her comment. We see that. Matter of fact, let me just stretch this out here. There we go. Gina, are you impressed with the way I can move those around?
That's pretty cool.
There we go. And Dr. Rubin is joining us right now from her home out there, I believe out there. But we're glad to have you here. Hello, and always good to have you drop by and say hello. So, Gina, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Agorapreneur's lifestyle. And it's kind of an interesting little twist there because it doesn't say political party. Really, we don't care what political party someone is, as long as they go by living and let living. You know, you live your life you want to, but then the flip side of that is let live. That means you let others live their lives the way that they want. They might do something that we go, that's kind of weird. Why are you doing that? Well, if they're not harming anyone else and they're taking responsibility for what they're doing, Let them do it. Somebody wants to do something goofy and weird in their home that's not harming anyone else, but they're doing it for themselves, and they're not making a lot of noise. They're not creating a threat. If they create a threat and it's imminent danger to us, that's a different thing. If someone's, say, hypothetically, they're building an atom bomb in their basement, and it could go off. Well, that would be initiating the force just by the fact of doing that. So that is where we don't want that. We don't go along with that, but we really put the emphasis more than anything on the entrepreneurial side of getting out there and working and being mobile, if you want, being able to travel around as a geographic nomad, going different places. A digital nomad fits in. Many digital nomads are agorapreneurs, as we would define that term. So, Gina, I think it's got a lot of opportunity there. What are your thoughts?
Well, it definitely sounds really good. Tell me, how is it that you became an entrepreneur? And then we'll come back later and you tell me about how you became an agorapreneur. So how did you become an entrepreneur, Terry? And for those of you watching out in Facebook land or YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're watching, if you have questions for us, or if you have questions about what an agorapreneur is, or if you're wondering if you are an agorapreneur, please post in the chat. We'd love to see your comments and love to see your questions about this fairly new term that Terry introduced to the world a little while ago, maybe a year or so ago. And it's really struck a nerve with a number of people who said, yeah. At first people say, I don't really know what that means. But once they understand what it means, a lot of people say, yeah, that's me. I really do resonate with that philosophy. Live and let live. And I'm an entrepreneur. And I believe in not initiating force against others. I believe in letting people do what they want to do as long as they're not harming anyone else. And, sign me up. Well, there's really no place to exactly sign up, except, of course, you could subscribe or like this video wherever you're seeing it. But Terry, let's come back to your story. What caused you to become an entrepreneur?
Well, actually, I started when I was in second grade. I think I was about 7 years old at the time, and I was with a couple of friends of mine, and we were on the same school bus. And we talked about telling people what's going on at the school and what the bus is doing and what different people are doing. And so I was thinking as a journalist then, but as an entrepreneur. So we started publishing this little newsletter. And we also got a little business going where we would get pencils and erasers and other things. And we used pencils and erasers back then, and using different little tools. And we'd make some money. And we actually made a little bit of money. I think it was like $22, $23, which back then was a lot of money. I like that. But also I was shocked into reality when I went on vacation with my mom and dad. They took us for about a week. We went somewhere. School was in session then, but we missed that week. But when we came back, I discovered that the teacher had taken the money from my buddies and told us that we could not do that again. And she took the money and gave it to a charity that they were funding at that time. So I thought, well, that isn't right. How could she do that? And I realized the first time in my life there, what it was like for an authority to come and take that. The authority, she could have said, hey, you can't do this on school property or something. I don't know what the rules were back then. We didn't check on those kind of things when I was 7. Didn't bother about it. But she could have explained that to us and then said, here, we'll divide this up between the 3 of you. Here's how you do division. This is what we call division. It could have been a learning lesson. Nope. She just confiscated it out. So that was my first experience as an entrepreneur. But I had many others through the years doing little jobs here and there, working my way through undergrad school. I had to pay for about 99.9% of everything I did. I remember I got a check for $2,000 once from Dad. He got some Social Security because he was disabled at work, and he got that. So I got a little bit there. But other than that, it was all up to me. And that was good. That was really good because I would work my little face off in summers, going to work at different factories there in Michigan. Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company was one of them. They did have a place in Michigan at that time. And I got a chance to really learn about that. I'd earn all the money I could, work as many hours as I could, and poke the money in the bank so that when I went off to school, I had a little bit there. And then when I was at school, I would do other jobs too, other odd jobs here and there, working in the cafeteria. I remember cleaning, doing cleaning services, real dirty, nasty toilets and things like that at a clinic. and had to do all that because I had no other money. But it was good. I learned from that. And so I just kind of went that route and then wanted to continue forward. But I think a lot of us do that. And what we want to do is you want to look at all the things that go into your life that help you to become a better person. Take the stuff that happens to you and you turn that around into something that's going to be a whole lot better. Let the obstacle be the way. There's a book out by that name, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and he's quoting Marcus Aurelius, who says, whatever that obstacle is, the thing that's hurting you, that's holding you back, the thing that's causing the problem, let that be the way that you become better. And you think, that seems kind of straight. Well, that's a stoic way of living. I tend to embrace that, and I think you do too, Gina, the idea of getting ahead and doing that. But Gina, you also have done a lot as an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your ventures and what you have done in the entrepreneurial world.
Well, as you're talking about becoming an entrepreneur at a young age, I wasn't exactly an entrepreneur, but it definitely was good sales experience. I sold the most peanut brittle when I was in first grade at Riverside Elementary.
Well, Riverside Elementary helped there to make you a good salesperson.
Which earned me the title of Queen of Riverside Elementary School. And that was quite an interesting experience to be able to buy a title like that. Like, okay, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
They had good incentives.
I think so. But then you also went beyond that, and you did a lot of work, and you did a lot in business when you went to undergrad school, working that. I don't think, were you working, didn't you do some projects when you were in undergrad school?
Yes, well, much like you, we both paid for our education out of our own pockets, and we really worked our way through school. I was a co-op student at Georgia Tech. In addition, I was a waitress at Steak and Ale, and worked at several different steak and ales. I did a lot of different things. One of my most interesting jobs was promoting suntan oil at one of the local water parks. So I had to walk around in a bathing suit all day long and share samples of Panama Jack suntan oil with people. So that was kind of fun.
No,
But
I did
did a
not
lot
know
of
that.
different things. Yeah, well, I taught baton. I have a number of interesting experiences in my background, but as it relates to business, I did my first actual entrepreneurial, what I would call real entrepreneurial experience, was some girlfriends of mine and I from Georgia Tech. We started up a note-taking service at Georgia Tech, and so the idea, this was pre-laptops. This was going way back like to 1984, 1986 or so, and so we would find a really studious student with good penmanship who could take excellent notes in class. Then they would take that over to Kinko's, the copy service. Kinko's well known as copy service. They would take it to the on-campus Kinko's, make a whole bunch of copies, and the people who were subscribers to our service could have access to those notes. So it was a pretty good idea. I ended up going off to graduate school right as we were really getting it going, and the other folks, I think one of them moved away as well. So it didn't last very long, but it was a great opportunity for me to dip my toe in the entrepreneurial waters. And as I went on to business school, I knew that that's what I wanted to do when I got out of school, was to be an entrepreneur. And fortunately, that worked out pretty well.
Very good. I think it did, and it continues. And now we get a chance to adjust and learn in a crazy world 2021. And I think that's a marvelous thing to happen. Oh, by the way, we have another comment here from Dr. Rubin. Since then, she has her crown. Yes, indeed. Now you've got that crown. Do you have that with you, Gina?
It's not the same crown, but it is a crown.
A crown. There you go. Well, it looks good.
I've had a few crowns over the years.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think the idea, and thank you very much, Dr. Rubin. We appreciate that very much, your comments and on those things. And we see that there's a lot of opportunities right now. I think even in the midst of some of the yuck that's going on in the world, we'll use, and Gina, is it okay to use that term, yuck?
It certainly is.
Yeah, we can say on all the yuck going on, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to have a way to overcome it. So what we're going to do on this broadcast here and with our Agorapreneurs and our Video Rock Stars events, we're going to be talking about how to do this, how to live that lifestyle in the way you want. We have our Video Rock Stars, of course, is something where we learn specifically about using video of all types to present and to build an entrepreneurial business, building your business that way. And we have that as a very special thing to find out. Matter of fact, Gina, if somebody says, hey, I want to learn about that Video Rockstars thing, how can they find out about that?
Well, they would just hop on over to videorockstars.com. That's stars with a Z. So video, rock, stars, all put together, but a Z instead of an S.com. And from there, you can find out about Video Rock Stars. Well, that's handy dandy, Terry. Thank you so much for popping that up there.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
so that's a great way to learn about Video Rock Stars. Another way is to join our free Facebook group that you can find at the videochallengegroup.com. And that gives you access to a number of things that we do. For example, our Video Rockstars Pro, is a paid membership, but folks can watch the broadcast for free in the Video Challenge group. And starting at the end of January, January 24th, we're going to be hosting another challenge. Folks have loved our challenges over the years. We do these different events, and they're over a series of several days during which we share a lot of great information. It's free training, but it's really fantastic and probably better than a lot of the paid training that you might have purchased in recent months or years. And you can find out about that at fundyourfreedomchallenge.com.
Okay, well, I think we're filling up the screen here with references to all those, so we'll say we can make sure if they get the Video Challenge group or Video Rockstars, they'll be able to find out about all those other things, right?
Okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, that would be good. We got that, but we'll be bringing you more information all the time on these good tools that are out there and the good places you can go. But it's all a part of the Agorapreneurs branding and what we're doing, and we're just kind of the big tent where we have many other things within there. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing some interviews quite often on this channel. So we'll be doing this and looking at doing them at the same time, Mondays at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So mark that down, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. We're looking at having a special guest, and we'll let you know more about that as we progress. So you'll be able to watch and see what's going on. But the whole idea is how you can equip yourself with the skills you need to feel better. We're going to look at physical side as well, physical health, making sure that's good, as well as the technology you can use, how you can use and deploy those kind of technologies, and the mindset to live and let live and put that into real use, making money. So before we say goodbye and end this first inaugural episode of Agorapreneurs live streaming, Gina, what words would you say to that person who's an entrepreneur out there and they want to move farther and they want to get ahead and let their business grow?
Well, I think the important thing is to adopt the concept of pushing through. So as you said, the obstacle is the way. There will be obstacles. And the successful entrepreneurs that I know have pushed through those obstacles, have learned from them, have in many cases made that a big part of their success story. So it's really important that as you're pursuing your entrepreneurial dreams, to get real clear on what that vision is, what you want your business to look like. Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What problem do you solve? And how are you going to monetize that assistance, that ability to solve their problems? So you need to think about all those things. Those are some of the things we'll be talking about in the Fund Your Freedom Challenge. And we would just love to have you join us and contribute to us as well, because we learn. One of the sayings we have in Video Rockstars, which Terry has shared, is none of us is as smart as all of us. So we're constantly learning from members of our community. We're constantly sharing information that we're learning from some of the greats that are out in the world that live today, and many of which are no longer with us, because Terry and I are both big consumers of lots of historical information, lots of books where we get great ideas, and we're constantly just bringing them to our community. So yes, excited about the reboot of Agorapreneurs. And Terry, would you close us out by sharing your vision of the Agorapreneurs community?
The vision is that we have a group of people who are helping each other as entrepreneurs, thinking like entrepreneurs, whether you have your own business right now, or maybe you aspire to that, or maybe you're operating within another environment, but you think as an entrepreneur in your particular job. Then you will be able to start learning about the specifics, nuts, bolts, and wiggle pins of how to make this thing work, and doing it all peacefully, voluntarily. Live and let live. So thanks for joining us today for this first episode of Agorapreneurs Live. We'll look forward to seeing you. You want to leave us a note, drop us a message. I'm Terry at terrybrock.com, and Gina is Gina Carr at ginacarr.com, or Gina at ginacarr.com. There we go. Got to get it right. Gina at ginacarr.com. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you more later. Have a wonderful day, and thank you